hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and is absolutely still a member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Thank you once and always, Dylan and Kyle, coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia, for having me on there. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. A very warm, unseasonably warm week here in the Twin Cities anyway, and probably most of the upper Midwest. Spring is here, which is a great feeling. That means playoff hockey is right around the corner. The Minnesota Wild have only one game to go, which might annoy you that I'm recording today, but I don't know. For now, I'm keeping the schedule, and because, unfortunately, I have to work Saturday, so I'm not going to adjust the schedule this week. It just kind of is what it is. I'll probably have to pop in a new show, a short one maybe, in a few days. Kind of like I did with the Quinnipiac and Minnesota Gophers game. Unfortunately, Quinnipiac won the national championship, and I ranted about that in the last episode. If you're curious how I felt and all that, or you want to laugh at me, I don't know. But I tried to keep myself relatively professional, though. I wasn't that crazy, and I wasn't whining and bitching about the refs. Just, I don't know. Just an opportunity thrown away. That's all. Thrown away, and you can't get it back. Brock Faber looked really awesome in his season debut. So we're going to look at the previous games. I'm not going to analyze them too tightly, really, other than, unfortunately, more injuries to talk about. And I mean, more injuries to talk about. Great. Isn't that just wonderful? And the Minnesota Wild ultimately 500, so basically 2-2 in their last four. More injuries. Isn't that just great? Isn't that just great news? It's wonderful. So Kaprizov is just about to come back, right? He's just about to come back. It's the coolest feeling ever. And all that. Kaprizov's coming back. And Nyquist is coming back, too. All right. Yeah, and then Eriksson Ek has a puck off what looked like his ankle, basically, from Malkin of the Pittsburgh Penguins in a 4-1 loss. Great. So that's just wonderful. That was obviously the day of last week's show. Well, last week's show, and again, there was the most recent show Saturday night. Again, Quinnipiac and the Gophers, blah, blah, blah. I've repeated myself enough. This thing is not doing what I want it to do because it's annoying. What else is new? Everything's annoying. Losing to Pittsburgh was annoying, but I'm sure they're happy to have another crack at the postseason, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with this thing right now. Can't tell you. Marc-Andre Fleury, I don't know. Do you really want him starting game one of the postseason? If that's what they want, I think that's a mistake. I kind of do. And it's not like he's terrible, but it's not like he's good. There we go. I fixed it. Because I'm a technician, damn it. Regardless what people say, I'm a tech, damn it. And yes, I am. Matt Boldy with an assist. Zuccarello assist. So Zuccarello will get his occasional assist. Marcus Johansson scoring for the only goal for Minnesota here. Marcus Johansson had a pretty solid week, to be quite fair. But, I don't know. More importantly, again, I don't want to analyze the games all too closely. More importantly, Joel Eriksson Ek is basically what they're describing as week to week. So, I don't think it's broken if he's week to week. Broken usually means 6 weeks and good luck. 4 to 6 weeks. Kind of like two Timberwolves players like Naz Reid. I'll talk about that tomorrow. The broken wrist, obviously, that was already, it was a freak injury. And we already talked about that 2 weeks ago already, believe it or not. And then the dummies punching the wall and punching each other and stuff. Yeah, really dumb week. Oscar Sundqvist injured as well during the course of this week. Joel Eriksson Ek. So that's really a tough blow because Joel Eriksson Ek is kind of probably the best playoff player on the Minnesota Wild, starting at least with the Golden Knights series a few years ago already. Can't believe that was already 2 years ago and one of the most beautiful springs ever. I watched the game one, the entire game one outside on my phone with obviously the earbuds, so I got the full effect, full sound and everything. So it's just like watching TV nowadays, thanks to technology. It was too nice outside to sit indoors on a Saturday afternoon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was gorgeous out that day. So that's why I remember it so well. And it was a fun game. And the Wild won, and Joel Eriksson Ek was awesome and all that. Hopefully Joel Eriksson Ek is going to be able to play in a series versus Dallas or Colorado. I put in the bat signal ready for Dallas anyone, or Dallas anyone, Dallas Stars anyone. That's what I put. And it still could be Colorado. So anything could happen right now. Dallas is actually in first place at the moment, but the Colorado Avalanche have a game in hand. So there's a pretty good chance the Colorado Avalanche will still wind up as division champions after all this and how not disappointing, but a slow start to the year. Guys kind of hurt, maybe the Stanley Cup hangover, that kind of crap, and they might wind up in first place anyway. Again, no Landeskog all season. Jeez. And no Darcy Kemper either. Ooh, it's the end of the world, so no Darcy Kemper. Well, I don't know. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked out so great in Washington either. So Dallas at the moment is winning the division, but again, they are winning by only 1 point, 106 to 105, and Colorado has the infamous game in hand deal. They have more wins. Dallas has more overtime losses to beef up their points, which is so cute and adorable. So they have less regulation losses. I don't know. It's fun. It's cute and everything. Otherwise, you got Vegas and Edmonton ruling the West at the moment. Edmonton Oilers with 107 points. Yep. Kind of helps when Connor McDavid is having a career year. He's continuing to become the best player in the world, as that's what he basically is now. I don't think there's any doubt if there ever was. Yeah, you got Shaw with his fourth ACL, now 2 on each knee. Oscar Sundqvist banged up, but I think he's going to be okay. That's just me saying that. Ryan Hartman ended up getting suspended for like a weird kind of incidental contact type of situation versus Winnipeg. So he was suspended for he is suspended versus Nashville. Oh darn! I guess he at least he won't have some freak injury unless it's in practice. It better not be. Please stop getting injured, guys. Please, anything but injuries. Just win games once in a while. Klingberg was a mess most of the week, especially in his own zone. Dumba's Dumba. He is not. I don't know. He's Dumba. He's out there. He's got an A on his chest. Sometimes he smiles a little bit. And yeah, that's Matt Dumba. It's Matt Dumba. Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely great. How many pucks did he get on goal? 0 against Pittsburgh. 0. Jonas Berdine 5. Jonas Berdine. Jared Spurgeon, not Jonas Spurgeon. I think I said everything right. I don't know. It was a meh game. And the Penguins were, they're trying to make the playoffs. I think they're out now, though. 5th place at the Metropolitan. I think they're dead, right? They should be. They're either dead or they're like, they have to win everything and everybody has to lose type of deal. Because, yeah, we're like at the end and stuff. I don't know. And we'll talk some more about the upcoming games and all that in the postseason. That's going to be segment 2, is pretty much kind of a playoff preview. The crappy part is it's not going to be official. I might throw in a new show where it'll be it'll be 100% playoff preview. Some of the matchups are probably set, kind of, sort of. Maybe it just depends on home ice and all that between the two. But a lot of times you have a pretty good idea who's going to win between two teams if they're together. And be dead wrong about the prediction, but what the heck, make the prediction anyway. The St. Louis game was fun, 5-3 victory. You got to have Kaprizov and Gustav Nyquist with a couple of assists. Little beauty pass to Goudreau. It was a nice pass to Goudreau, a couple of assists in his debut, him being Gustav Nyquist and Nyquist. There is no V, sorry. That's the other guy. Sundqvist. Yes, that's the one with the V. Boldy, gosh, what happened? No points? Come on, Boldy. No, I'm kidding. After the way he's playing, it's like, geez. Ryan Hartman, awesome in the game. Absolutely impressed with what Hartman was able to do against the Blues. Just fun performance for him. Just kind of attacking, getting the puck and scoring. And gotta love that. A goal and an assist. Hartman's been playing so well, generally speaking. Sam Steele with a goal and an assist as well in the game. That's the one good thing. I mean, unfortunately, again, with so what are you going to do with Drew Lark's neck being out? Well, Sam Steele. He was kind of the one hanging around there. And then you end up calling up Marco Rossi as well. He did not suit up in this game. In fact, actually, he wasn't officially called up yet, was he? No, he wasn't called up yet for some reason. That's okay, because you have Steele anyway, so you have the Man of Steel. And, of course, this night, the Minnesota Wild won in a fun, entertaining game, and Jordan Binnington gave up 4 goals, including and then there was the empty netter that made it 5, and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of us were paying attention to the Gophers taking a 2-0 lead versus the Quinnipiac Bobcats. And then, I don't know, and then the momentum in the game shifted, and ever so slowly but surely, Quinnipiac slowly but surely got their first and then eventually their second goal, which was devastating. kind of like backbreaking in a way. And then, of course, yeah, it really ended up being backbreaking because the overtime was just a joke, basically. It was like an April Fool's joke. Okay, it's overtime. We still have a chance. Maybe the Gophers will win the face-off and explode down the ice and score. No, it was Quinnipiac that did that pretty much. Kind of, I don't know. It was just wonderful. And it's all kind of a daze after that. Not because I got drunk, because I did not get drunk, but because I was furious. And yeah, what a wasted opportunity. Back to this game, though. Again, back to the Wild, sorry. And you get to see Brock Faber play on against the Blackhawks, which is really cool on Monday, and it looked really good. So, but this again, a nice, comfortable win for the Wild, and we finally get to the 100-point threshold, and it's the greatest feeling ever, and all that. So, yay! we got over 100 points, and we feel like $1 million, I guess. Ultimately, with 102 at the moment. But at that point, we got to 100 officially, and we're starting to think, yeah, it's probably Dallas now. Now they've pulled ahead of Winnipeg enough. We're a division leader regardless, but unfortunately, Colorado and Dallas have been playing like Colorado and Dallas, the two teams that we fear a lot right now. Either way, we're going to play a very tough team. Maybe an aging defenseman in Ryan Suter, who hasn't been so good this year. Our kind of sort of aging defense, and he's not nearly as old as Suter, but again, Klingberg didn't have a good week. It's plain and simple. He's been a mess defensively, and it's not good. The Wild win a fun game against Alex Stalock and the Chicago Blackhawks. Oh yeah, there's this guy named Jonathan Toews, but he had a goal taken away. So sorry, Jonathan. Sorry, Tavesy, I guess you might call him, the captain of the Blackhawks. Great game by Marcus Johansson. Again, hope he's okay, as he hopefully doesn't have a broken rib, maybe bruised with the cross-check late, kind of cheap type of situation in the Winnipeg game. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Boldy with a goal and an assist, shooting the puck on net, recovering the puck, and then getting it around Alex Stalock with a nifty move. Marco Rossi is, yeah. You might have. I think Derek off the mic summed it up pretty good. He didn't look good. He didn't look good. And obviously kind of skittish, slow, this and that. And this is not meaning to be a jackass. This is just, and it's also, again, me not putting words in Derek's mouth, because I'm not. This is me saying this, and I'm probably I might even get a response from a person or two saying, I don't know, this or that. Maybe don't go there, or it's just not a good comparison whether you like it or not. But I don't know. So far, he's starting to, if we're talking like slow skating and all that and kind of meh out there, Benoit Pouliot.
No, absolutely not. Are you nuts?
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. Please don't be Benoit Pouliot. Please don't be Benoit Pouliot, Marco. But and Benoit Pouliot was a higher draft pick, and yeah, we could have had Anze Kopitar. But anyhow, we'll have to set that aside for now, and hope Marco Rossi can come out of his shell, because it's kind of scary. It is. At least he was 500 in faceoffs. He won 4 and lost 4. But the other rookie, who finished second place in the nation, unfortunately, well, they should have won. Oh, they should have won. Yes, they should have won if they had any initiative whatsoever in the second half of that hockey game. Any initiative rather than just staying back and okay, we'll stop you. Okay, we'll stop you. Okay, we'll stop you. That one got through. That's great. Now we're tied. Yeah, after like 99, taking 99 shots to the leg, to the this, to the pads, to the goalie pads, to your pads, your knee pads, whatever, off the chest, chest protector, stuff like that. One thing after another. I don't know. It finally, but yeah, Brock Faber again kind of picked up where he left off as a phenom defensively. In college hockey, looks like he could be a phenom in the NHL defensively. So again, not exactly going to be lighting the lamps like crazy, but don't be surprised if his offensive game comes around a little bit as his career progresses. Because if you're good, you're good. It is what it is. Some guys just have that skill, and Faber's offense did improve. It did increase in his junior year, not his senior year. His junior year in college hockey. He obviously is not going back because he signed an entry level, and there he is with the Wild. Matthew Nyes debuted with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Holcomb, who blocked a ton of shots as well and has a beautiful shot himself with the Anaheim Ducks, who need a lot of help. And the Wild need help too, because a certain other guy who didn't play on the right side, Matt Dumba, is he's just gone. He is gone unless he's coming back at some insanely cheap salary. And I think I'd rather take my chances with Brock Faber. If Dumba's not going to provide offense, and he does provide mediocre to below average defense, when you can get a way higher end defense from Brock Faber, and probably about as much offensive production anyways, what Dumba's brought the last 3 years or so. Well, which way do you think you want to go? I'll take my chances with Brock Faber. I will absolutely like to do that. People locally already want Faber to be playing full time in the postseason. I'm not completely against that. Like, I'm not. I mean, there's certain guys on this roster that aren't good. They're not that good defensively, and they're not that, and they provide no offense anyway. I mean, John Merrill's kind of like that. Dumba's kind of like that, and I know they're not going to bench Dumba in the playoffs unless he just falls off the face of the earth. But this is the last hurrah, and everybody knows it. But I don't know. I mean, I could imagine things really becoming real interesting with Brock Faber, though, with Minnesota long term. Guys like Merrill, guys like Goligoski, it kind of is what it is. It was kind of cool seeing Faber and Goligoski together, two former Gophers. How cool is that? One also, I believe Goligoski was on the team that lost to Holy Cross. I believe so, if I remember correctly. So, again, because that's a long time ago. 2006 is way back in the day. That's why Goligoski's in his mid-30s now and, at the tail end of his career here. Nice offensive player. That was a great Gopher team. That was a great disappointment right away in that tournament. It was just, I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to remember it. Kalen Addison looks not so good either. The second goal that he was on the ice for, he was a -1 in the game officially. The second goal he was on the ice for was, he was there and all that, but it was like a 2-on-1, so I can't really complain. The first goal given up, though, with Addison there, it just felt like what the heck was that? He couldn't, I don't know, he just couldn't get control of the puck and get it out of there. He just kind of got outmanned, outplayed, out-toughed everything on the play. It was kind of embarrassing, actually. I don't know. It was crappy. It really was. Was it Buddy Robin? No, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong thing. He's my buddy, right? No, it was, I believe, yeah, it was Anderson, Joey Anderson, I believe, early on. It was like, what was that? And then the Bjork Bowl. Not Bjorn Borg or anything, but Bjork getting his first goal of the season. Chicago just kind of, bringing guys up as well. Like, what the heck? Why not? And who knows? That's Chicago at this point. Minnesota, again, bringing guys up like Ross Rossi and Brock Faber. Rossi didn't look good. Faber did. It's just kind of bottom line. That's kind of the theme here. And the Minnesota Wild won the game with a bunch of guys sitting out for obvious reasons. Obviously, they're banged up a little bit, and we're heading into the playoffs, and we're not moving up, we're not moving down. So it's kind of like the Vikings a couple years ago, where we basically lost 2 games in a row. But this was back in 2019. They were stuck at the 3rd seed, whether we liked it or not. Or was it the 5th seed? Actually, we had to go on the road. Yeah, 5th seed, whether we liked it or not. So it was just kind of the way it was. That was 2019, and we still won the playoff game on the road. Impressive. Most impressive Viking game in probably, forever. Anyhow, at the time anyway. Jonas Brodin, Dumba, Eck, no kidding. Unfortunately, Kirill Kaprizov, Mason, I know. Why even say he's scratched? I mean, yeah. Jared Spurgeon, Oscar Sundqvist, and Matt Zuccarello, of course, all, shelved for the game. And the Wild still win against a Chicago team that's kind of doing the same thing. At this stage, they're not playing for anything right now other than maybe trying to get the other Connor, trying to get the bad for Bedard or whatever they call it. So we'll see. We'll see if Chicago winds up with Connor Bedard, which would be bad news for us. Hope he winds up in an Eastern Conference team not called the New York Rangers, because they've had enough high draft picks. Obviously, he's not going to the Rangers, but at the time, it was like, again? Come on. They got like 2 or 3 high-end, why are they saying fire Lindy? That's interesting. Okay. Why would you do that? Anyhow. Sorry, I got that. I don't know what that was all about. But, yeah, Chicago, obviously it is what it is. They're kind of obviously on their way, to the golf courses and to to draft weekend coming up later on. Or draft week, whatever. NHL draft week coming up, weekend coming up. That's the Blackhawks, or the Wild are hoping for something. Some kind of playoff run. Maybe a legitimate playoff run. As long as the injuries finally stop for a little bit. Yeah. Sorry, Lindy. Yep, sorry. That's funny. I just had to look up because I saw something flashing. But, okay, yay, the Wild won the game. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be our last win in the regular season. We're going to wind up with 102 points. That's probably where we're at, which is okay. I mean, I don't know. You felt like it could have been better the way things kind of tanked the last week or two here. 3-1 loss to Winnipeg Jets. Woo-hoo-hoo. Tuesday, April 11th. Back-to-back situation. Marc-Andre Fleury in net, and of course Gustafsson was against the Blackhawks. So Fleury's had a couple of former teams. Like, yeah, we know who he played for. The Wild only managed one goal. Kaprizov, gosh, he had multiple opportunities to have some highlight-level goals, but ended up finishing on this one. That was nice. Again, it was a beautiful kind of just getting the puck and finishing on a great kind of, almost like a backhand kind of move. It's basically what it was. Klingberg, despite his poor play, did get an assist there. -2 in the game. It's too bad because Klingberg was a guy I was like, man, Klingberg, hell yes. Especially with the Dallas Stars at the time. Like, watch out for that guy. He is tough. He's one of the best. And it's like, I guess not. Rossi played out there, and yep, he won some face-offs. Yay, that's kind of progress. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, yeah, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good either. Just, I don't know, just kind of a guy. Which one is he? There he is out down there with Sam Steele and Ryan Reeves at the moment. Wow. And again, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but you know what I mean? It's kind of painful, kind of sad. Matt Zuccarello had the save of the year on him. He had a goal. And then Hellebuck was able to spin around and get his stick and a poke check, whatever the heck, knock the stick save is what it is, not a poke check. And make, again, probably the save of the season. If not, top 5 for sure. I mean, that was a goal, And then it wasn't a goal because Hellebuck made a hell of a save. He had a great game, 34 saves. The Winnipeg Jets are in the postseason. The Nashville Predators are kaput. That was actually the Jets clinching the postseason, defeating the Minnesota Wild. They were playing for something. The Wild kind of weren't. Addison back to being scratched. No Brock Faber, unfortunately. Galakowski. Nyquist, Baton, Sundqvist still out, so on and so forth. We have options, us being the Minnesota Wild, of course, but, unfortunately not every option is necessarily going to have you dancing on the clouds. You'd much rather have Joel Eriksson Ek back than being super happy to have Steele out there, but Steele might be out there anyway with the way the situation is, guys being hurt or banged up or matchups or whatever. Steele's not a bad player, but of course, he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth for an extended period during the course of the season, which has unfortunately not helped his cause at all. Injuries to Sundqvist still out, unfortunately. So it is kind of what it is. Nyquist, he looked a little gassed recently. He looked a little gassed in the Chicago game, but we'll see. We'll see how he turns out, though. Probably just a long shift at the time, too. But I'm sure, again, he's just kind of getting back out there playing full-time hockey again rather than, practicing. But kind of a weird week. The Wild managed 2 wins out of 3. 2 wins out of 4. We did beat Chicago. Sorry, it felt like only one. But a couple of mad games, and then the injuries and the cheap plays against Winnipeg. What looked like incidental contact winds up being kind of a little bit of a scary situation, and a 1-game suspension for Ryan Hartman. But unfortunately, nothing of the sort coming the other way, where Marcus Johansson may have a rib injury. So I don't know. It sucks. Hopefully, Marcus Johansson's going to be okay. His chemistry with Boldy and Goudreau has been phenomenal. We need him. The good thing is, I do think Nyquist would be able to fit in with that group. In fact, they have played together. He has played with, ironically, Johansson, but I think he'd be able to work with Goudreau. And, actually, he played with Goudreau, and Johansson. So I think it'll work out if need be, if Johansson's not going to be able to play. But what rotten luck if that is the case. because, a couple of years ago he got hurt before the playoffs. He was already disappointing at the time. Or this year he's not been disappointing. Johansson has been to a point, I think, you almost want to bring him back. Obviously not a huge expense, but see what you can do type of thing. Maybe Nyquist, but who knows? Obviously the cap crunch is what it is. We're right in the heart of it now going into next season. We'll be in the heart of the cap crunch. It is crunching, folks. It is a big one, and most of you already know that. Marcus Foligno also had like a crazy moment as well, so I don't know. It's entertaining and everything, and he pulled the guy's helmet off like a gladiator, and Foligno, like Maximus, but are we entertained? Not really. Losing 3-1 to Winnipeg is kind of entertaining, I guess. I guess it's better than no game being on, but I don't know. Kaprizov was wonderful, I thought, but Hellebuck was wonderful too. Kaprizov was wonderful. He really was. He could have had a hat trick in this game. Some of the opportunities he created for himself were phenomenal. Zuccarello could have scored easily, pretty much standing up in the final moments, but again, great save by Connor Hellebuck. With that said, the player of the week, the Mike Modano Award winner of this week, not the easiest thing ever. I thought it was going to be Ryan Hartman, and I still might go that way. I'm leaning that direction. It could be Marcus Johansson. It could be multiple players. It's not going to be a goalie this week. It could be Klingberg. No, it's not going to be Klingberg. It's just not. I'm going to go with Johansson and Hartman are going to bring it in this week. Johansson and Hartman will bring home the Mike Modano Award. They're going to share it this week. A couple of guys who had been maligned at times, but man, I mean they've been pretty good for this team for a while now. The James Shepard Memorial, right by the popcorn maker and all that cool stuff. Yep, that was an interesting bit that was brought to my attention. Is John Klingberg? He didn't have a good week. He was rough out there. Yeah, he doesn't look too good. Hopefully, we're going to get some better play from him moving on. With that said, I've babbled enough here, but it was 4 games. And so this will probably be the last episode with 4 games on it, unless I'm just catching up to the postseason, as that's where we're heading now, into the postseason versus Dallas or Colorado. We'll come back right after this and talk about that. We'll talk about Nashville for about 10 seconds, I'm sure. It's NBA playoffs time. That means big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in on the excitement of every game with a touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, yeah. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus. You'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. So, obviously, you got some exciting series coming up, and some series that maybe aren't as exciting as others. But, obviously, again, like, you got to think the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks are going to advance fairly early, and you can kind of bet on that as you go forward. Sometimes the first round is not as good as the second round, but that's part of the fun of it, I suppose. Betting on the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially when they take a lead, very, very slim. They're still fighting to get past OKC to get into the NBA playoffs in general. Otherwise, the Lakers and Memphis, that could be a really interesting series coming up. Sacramento Golden State got the Kings in 6. Clippers and Phoenix got Phoenix in 5. As long as Kevin Durant can stay freaking healthy, that would be nice. Denver versus Timberwolves or something. Wolves, actually, if the Wolves get past OKC, I think we could be a headache for Denver. Push them to 6 at least. Atlanta, Boston, that's going to be a lot of fun, actually. Brooklyn and Philly. New York versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's going to be really good. And then the Bucks will be playing the Bulls or the Miami Heat in the first round. I think the Bucks would win comfortably in either of those two. Not because I'm trashing an 8th seed, but because the Bucks are really, they're really at the top of their game right now. We're looking at a nice green Eastern Conference Finals, I think, Bucks and Celtics. I think Phoenix is a pretty good chance to come out of the West as well with Kevin Durant now, if the son of a gun can stay healthy. So that's kind of where I lean at the moment. Anyhow, download the app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. See show notes for details. Gopher hockey. No, I'm kidding. Brave the Wild. I'm just kidding. Probably not something you want to hear too much about now. Gopher fans that are frustrated, and well, say Duluth Bulldogs and St. Cloud State Huskies, Mankato State Mavericks, Bemidji State Beaver fans, and all that other good stuff. I know I'm forgetting somebody. I have to be, right? Yeah, I said Mankato Mavericks, St. Cloud State Huskies, Duluth Bulldogs, Bemidji State Beavers, Minnesota Gophers, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the other teams are fans are probably bored with the Gopher talk. But, well, sorry. Well, and those of you that want to hear it, including myself, when I'm listening to other shows, it's, or mine for quality control anyway. Gopher talk is a fun thing in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Nashville Predators, one last meeting with these guys, and I'm probably banking on a loss. And I'm not saying it because just to be a jackass or anything. I just don't think we're going to win. It's funny though. People back in the day used to be like, "Oh, hockey, hockey making the playoffs is so easy. Yeah, you just beat like the, like at the time was the Ottawa Senators and Sharks or something. Back in the day." Because they were like the expansion teams. Just beat them a couple times and you'll pretty much make it. Toronto Maple Leafs, because they were like 5th place a lot in that Norris division. The 4th place team made it. Yeah, those days are long gone. Like, look at Nashville. 10 games above 500. They're not going to make it. Pittsburgh might not make it. That type of deal. So it's kind of funny. Season series is tied with Nashville, but I do think they win the rubber match. 2-1 Nashville on November the 15th, way back before Thanksgiving there a bit. Sunday, February 19th, the Wild won. Pretty cool, 4-3 win. And then this is the rubber match in the final game of the regular season. Nashville's 3-2 in their last 5 games. Of course, they were fighting for the playoffs, but now they're not going to make it. And the Wild 2-3 in our last 5. Blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not going to go over too many stats other than Soros' nice season so far. Well, nice season generally. 2.69 goals against average. Save percentage right under 92. 2 shutouts. Roman Josi with 59 points to lead the Nashville Predators. Duchesne leads them with 22 goals. And Josi, again, with 41 assists. 41 assists. Sorry. Nino Niederreiter, 28 points. But he got traded, right? Yeah. See, now I can mess around with this quick. He got traded to the Jets, yeah. So he'll be in the playoffs. 41 points for the Jets and Nashville Predators over the course of the season. Didn't really notice Nino Niederreiter, did I? No. But I mean, guys are in, guys are out. I don't know. It kind of is what it is. Ekholm is on the... so they'd kind of given up and then still almost made it. Kind of given up. I mean, because Ekholm was a valuable defenseman, and he's helping Edmonton possibly win the Western Conference. But then you have a team like Boston who's probably going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't know. But then again, those number one teams rarely do. That's the crazy part. So right now, if the season ended today, Winnipeg is going to Vegas. Good for Vegas. They should win that, but I don't know. Edmonton, LA, classic matchup. Late 80s, early 90s, Gretzky versus Edmonton, when they were still, Gretzky and Edmonton, Gretzky versus Edmonton, pardon me. Colorado, Minnesota right now, with the way things are shaped up. Dallas and Seattle. This might end up being the matchup. It just might, but I don't know. Colorado's probably going to win the division. That's the thing. They're probably going to win the division, and then the Dallas Stars will be facing off against the Wild in the next few days, so to speak. Carolina, New York, New Jersey versus the New York, Carolina versus the Islanders, New Jersey versus the Rangers. So it's all, Tampa and Toronto, interesting. Florida going to Boston, looking to pull off the huge upset, which you never know. But Florida has sucked in the playoffs forever. Ask Michael Russo; he'll probably tell you that, right? Except for that one magical season back in '96, which we really enjoyed. That was in his very early days covering hockey. Really enjoyed that. I'm sure going to the Cup final, but we're sacrificial lambs to a really good Colorado team that had just moved there and was determined to kick everyone's ass, and they did. Boston, point differential, goal differential, 127. That is off the flipping charts. They've won their last 7 games. They have 1 game remaining, 133 points. They are the number 1 seed. I don't think anybody's going to catch Boston for the number 1 seed. They're only 22 points behind, and Carolina's got 111 points, which is really good. New Jersey, 110 points, kind of like the Devils of old when they were really, really, really a huge threat. But definitely a different type of team, more of an offensive team that can play defense as well. 64-point differential, that's number 2 in the East. New Jersey has that. Pittsburgh they are out, right? Yeah, they're out. Florida officially has clinched. So Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit, blah, 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 they're all out. Yep. Calgary's officially out, and I think that's the end of Suter. Yes. Daryl Sutter, not Suter. What did I say that for? They've already played 82 games, and they're kaput. 93 points for the Calgary Flames. A massive disappointment. But also, again, back in the day, a 93-point season, and not even that long ago, didn't the Wild have 94 points when we were the 6th seed and went to the West Final? So making the playoffs ain't what it used to be. It used to be kind of easy. Now it's not. It's actually an accomplishment to make the postseason. I mean, gosh, almost everybody has 100 points. Even Seattle, the Seattle freaking Kraken, who were a what do you call it? A expansion team last year. 100-point season. Seattle Kraken, and they're the 7th seed with 100 points. 7th seed. Do you realize that? Vegas expansion team in 2017 went to the Cup final and almost won the darn thing. But Washington said, nope, basically. 109 points right now, holding on to the number 1 seed, but that could change, I believe. Yeah, they haven't officially clinched. Edmonton has won 8 in a row. 8 in a row. We'll see if they can maintain that going into the playoffs. Undefeated in their last 10. In regulation, they did lose in a shootout, and unfortunately, or overtime or whatever, and in the playoffs, a loss is a loss. You ain't going to be getting any point in the playoffs. You lose, you lose. You snooze, you lose, right? Tell that to whoever losing in overtime. Tell that to the New York Islanders losing to Tampa, games like that. In that great series a few years back. Winnipeg is for sure the 8th seed, so they will, fortunately Vegas and so that's the one thing. It's tough to do an actual playoff preview when you're not 100% sure who's playing who, but I'm going to assume the Wild will be playing the Dallas Stars because Colorado has a chance to play 2 games. The maximum amount of points Dallas can have is 108. The maximum amount of points Colorado can have is 109. Interesting. So, yeah, Colorado wins 2 games. They're ahead, and they win the division. Dallas, who are they even playing tonight? But again, that is, that's probably our opponent, but it's not necessarily the case. Tonight they're playing the Blues, who they beat recently. So, okay, that's interesting. Very interesting, to say the least. Blues, they can definitely beat them, and they did beat them 5-2 last night. So we'll see what happens. Dallas is still hanging on to a possible division title. Colorado plays Winnipeg and Nashville, ironically. So Nashville will be coming off a back-to-back type of thing. Not necessarily playing for anything except for pride and spoiler and all that. Who knows? Maybe we will play the Colorado Avalanche. Either way, it's going to be a very tough series with either club. I mean, is there any doubt? So that's the unfortunate fact of it all. It's going to be an insanely tough series, no matter who the Wild play going forward with the the Avalanche or the Dallas Stars. So I'll kind of sort of look at them at the moment here as I kind of jump into this again. I'll look a little bit at the prospects as well, just a little bit, mostly like tournaments inside, because they're all postseason just like us. And Iowa just is, Iowa scores a goal a game now. And they lose every game 3-1, 4-1 now. They're back to that crap again. So it was nice when we were actually winning games like that. Jason Robertson, 109 points on the year. Jeez. 109 points. He's actually already eclipsed Kirill Kaprizov's career high last year. It's nice when you can stay healthy. Kaprizov might have had, he would have had 100 again, but Jason Robertson has become a bona fide superstar in the National Hockey League. 46 goals, 63 assists. Jamie Benn playing really well again. 33 goals and 44 assists. Joel Pavelski, again, my goodness, an ageless wonder. 77 points for Joe Pavelski. Pardon me. It's really been something. Riley Tuffy, he played there for a minute. He was at Duluth, 3 games. Good for him. Man, unbelievable, isn't it? What a run. Jamie, what a run, though. I mean, the Stars, obviously still a dangerous club, no matter how you look at them. Where's Ryan Suter? Is he still alive? I think I'm going nuts. How am I not seeing him? But very shortly. There, he's 22 points, 3 goals on the season. 81 games, though. Staying healthy all season. Good for him. Must be the Hy-Vee. Yeah, it must be. Dallas is on a huge winning streak as well. Both teams are like, we're winning the division. Go away, Minnesota. It ain't going to be you. Jake Ottinger, one of the best goalies ever, and comes from the same, not best goalies ever, but one of the best goalies in the NHL. Maybe he will be one day one of the best ever. 2.41 goals against average. He's got a nice backup, too, in Scott Wedgwood. 2.72 goals against average with a shutout and a save percentage of .915. Where Jake Ottinger, .918, with 4 shutouts on the season. He could flat out win the series versus the Minnesota Wild, particularly if we're offensively challenged and all that and can't get the power play going if we're ever on the power play. That's the other thing. Hiskinen, my goodness, just a few years ago, he was on my fantasy team as a young guy. Couldn't score a point for his life because he was just kind of getting going. 73 points. That's all you got to say. Again, that's a defenseman, of course. Lindbergh, who? John, who? Yeah. Miro Hiskinen, that's all. That's all. I think he kind of took over that role. But that's where we're standing there. Colorado Avalanche, if we're so fortunate to play the Colorado Avalanche. I can't wait. Yay. They lost 2-1 to Edmonton recently. And then beat Winnipeg. No, are playing Winnipeg tonight. And then Nashville Friday. So anything could happen here. And I'd probably throw in a short show to preview an upcoming series and maybe do a little bit of overall prediction. It'll probably be a 1-segment shot. We'll see. We'll see how things go. I'm also working on NFL draft preview for Purple Mafia. Of course, that show has moved to Anchor, so to speak, as well. Anchor/Spotify for podcasters, but it has not debuted a show yet on that provider, whatever, podcast carrier, whatever the heck we call those nowadays. There's a term for it, but I'm blanking on it. Colorado was on quite a winning streak, but then they lost to Edmonton, who is hotter than hell. Nathan McKinnon, only 69 games, by the way. Not like Jason Robertson at 81. 69 games, 107 points. So he's actually even more productive in the time allotted. Mikko Rantanen reaches the 100-point plateau. 54 goals on the season for Mikko Rantanen. Slightly better than another Mikko, but yeah, he's better. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's not that big of an insult to say Mikko Rantanen is better than Mikko Koivu. It's really, really not, actually. 102 points, 54 goals, 48 assists. Gorgiev, the former New York Ranger, right? 2.53 goals against average and 5 shutouts on the season. 5. So some of his numbers actually slightly better than Ottinger with almost 92 save percentage, 91.9. And then Francouz has been a pretty good backup as well. And, only 16 games, though. I think they used Gorgiev a little too much this year. Little bit. Only 16 games for Francouz. 2.6 Francouz. 2.61 goals against average and a save percentage of .915. A lot like Wedgwood in Dallas. And a shutout. So kind of similar there. You're going to get a good backup. You're going to get a good starter in both teams. Ottinger's a little better. I think he's the best of the bunch. But Gorgiev's been really good for Colorado, to be fair. If you win a division championship and your goals against average isn't like north of 3, you're doing something right. I got to think. Colorado's ever dangerous. There's this Cale Makar guy. I almost forgot about him. Yeah, you know that guy. I don't know. Well, he did miss a significant amount of time this year, unfortunately. Still wound up with 66 points. He might have had 90 this year, the way he was going. But and then you have the young Alex Duhook, who's a nice playmaker, but also can score. In 80 games, 29 points. So not, setting the world on fire or anything yet, but still doing well. Sam Girard, again, another New York Ranger. Cast off. Yeah, needs no cast off, but a good player. I'm just saying that. Another former New York Ranger anyway, now on the Colorado Avalanche with 30 points on the year. No, 36 points, 30 assists on the season. And Brad Hunt, formerly of who? Yeah, the Wild, with 4 goals, 5 assists in 46 games. That'd be funny if Brad Hunt factored in something. You never know. 46 games on the season, like I just said. Either team would be tough as hell to play. Part of me is almost kind of like bring on the Avalanche. Somehow I think we'd lose to the Stars in a series and that just forget about it. The Avalanche, maybe we'd pull off something funny. I mean, maybe this is another one of those funny years where we beat the Avalanche in the playoffs again. Could happen. Dallas, I think, would beat us. I really do. I think Stars in 6. If the Wild play the Dallas Stars. If the Wild play Colorado, I think there's a chance it's Minnesota in 7. With another one of those miracle 7th game victories again, or maybe even in 6. But I think the Wild would pull off a the upset versus Colorado. I have a sneaky feeling that we could do it. It wouldn't be easy, of course not, but I think it's possible. Plus, again, well, we're on the road, and the Wild have never won a series with home ice advantage, which is ridiculous. It's like the dumbest thing ever. I don't understand it. But we've had all of our playoff success has been on the road in terms of a series, like losing a series by not having home ice advantage. We did actually win one series at home versus the St. Louis Blues back in 2015 when it was a 6-game series. I remember thinking, this is unusual. We actually won a series in less than 7 games and in our house. This is great. This is the year. We're going all the way. We're like a legitimate playoff team now. And then Chicago was up 3-0 like 5 minutes into the game. It's like, this is dumb. And then they were up 3-0 in the series too, before we were even able to frickin' start enjoying something. It's like, well, thanks guys. Great season. See you next year. Hey, there's always next year. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. I just can't deal with it. Anyhow, Minnesota in 6 or 7 versus Colorado. I will go with 7. Dallas in 6, unfortunately, if the Stars play the Wild. That's just my guess. Maybe 7, but I'll go with 6. You think I like saying that? I don't. Liam Ugrin's continuing to play super well over there. He actually got Player of the Week this week for MNW Prospects / Young Guns. Player of the Week. We voted him in there. 19 years of age, of course. He has been really good in the postseason, if I ever get there. 10 games, 11 points in the qualification. The qualification, I like saying that. 6 goals, 5 assists. Overall, strong postseason for Liam Ugrin. Good for him for sure. Danila Yurov. Not sure. Thought I had something going here, and apparently not. Not sure what's happening. It's doing its thing. Yeah. He's done 11 goals or 11 games, nothing, and a -2. 2 penalty minutes and a -2. Yep, he's done, because I remember that was the same as last week. So that's the end of that. Obviously, college season is over. The Gophers are second place. The Iowa Wild, score a goal a game nowadays, and it's depressing. It's great, but Joe Hickett's, as mentioned by Derek, can kind of pretty much do everything. He has been wonderful at the AHL level. 26 years of age, unfortunately, coming out of Kamloops, British Columbia, and he is a really nice AHL defenseman who probably, is one of those guys who probably does deserve a crack at the NHL as a third pairing guy. But either way, he's a phenomenal AHL player. Can do a little bit of everything, kind of a jack of all trades, so to speak. Stephen Fogarty's been a really nice minor league guy, and unfortunately, age 29, coming out of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, 6'3" center, big dude. Again, really nice minor league player and kind of quad A. Unfortunately for him, Simon Johansson got his second. I don't think he scored. It was an assist. Yep. 14 points now on the year for Simon Johansson. He's been kind of quietly crawling up. He's kind of that underdog. He's the underdog Johansson. As there was Philip Johansson, of course, who was property of the Vancouver Canucks now in the Wild. Got their compensatory pick last year, which I believe was... I don't remember. Was that Hunter Haight? It was one of the two. I don't remember. I think it's Hunter Haight. I think so. It's either Hunter Haight or Rigger Lorenz, but I'm pretty sure it's Haight. It was a second-round pick because Vancouver was inferior to the Wild last year. Michael Milne got his 6th goal. I know that. He was the one that scored the goal. Good for him. 12 points on the season at age 19. One of those weird exception type of guys. Age 20, actually. That's stupid. I don't know why it's not adding up properly. That's really dumb. What the heck? That's really stupid. But Iowa's stinking, and I don't think... they're not going anywhere now, and it's depressing. Jesper Wallstedt, 2.7 goals against average, 17 and 15. Zane McIntyre, 2.9 goals against average, 16 and 12 on the year. Jesper Wallstedt's save percentage just under 91, whereas Zane McIntyre's couple of points under 90. What the heck? So 89.8, unfortunately for him, .02, whatever the heck. Rossi, again, now 18 career NHL games and 1 assist after another mediocre week, unfortunately, with mediocre couple of games anyway with the Minnesota Wild. It's depressing. It really is. I want to bounce around a little bit. Why did I close that? I'm mad at myself right now. Shoot. So I got to fix something quick here on the fly. But obviously, Merit Huznadinov is a guy we want to keep up with forever. Obviously, you know he's got a wonderful future with Minnesota. He can kind of be like, in a way, maybe a Russian version of Jule Eriksson in a sense. Not as big, though. But, good defensively, great skater. Definitely has got something going on, some offense that's going to come around. 7 points in 14 playoff games in the KHL. This is the KHL, by the way, no minor league stuff. It's the real thing. He had a good season. He really did. 1 goal, 6 assists. So he's like a half a point a game guy in the playoffs. It's not like he's dominating, but pretty good. He's been good, and obviously a defensive player. And what is he, like 20? So, yeah, he's 20. So, still got a lot of time to get better and better. So, that's the good news with Merit Huznadinov coming forward. Nate Benoit, 7 points in 19 USHL games with Waterloo. One of the cutest names ever, I guess. I don't know, I kind of clicked on him, but I accidentally did. Josh Pilar, yeah, he's not on the Wild anymore, of course. So we'll continue. Kyle Mostas has kind of a meh playoffs. 4 games, 2 points, but a great overall season. 65 points in 66 regular season games. Caden Bankier, who I think has been even better in a lot of ways. Yeah, 9 points in 4 games. Incredible. Every week he's in like he's one of the top 2 guys pretty much on MNW Prospect / Young Guns. 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists in 4 playoff games for the Kamloops Blazers. He's been absolutely sick. 85 points in 57 games. Okay, sorry. Jack Peart, they lost to the Gophers, of course, in the Elite 8 of college hockey. Kamloops. No, what am I talking about? Carson Lambos, anyway. That makes a little more sense. With a couple of assists in 4 playoff games. Last year he had 8 assists in 15. So we'll see how that turns out. Hunter Haight. Nice postseason so far for the Saginaw Spirit. 7 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. 7 points. Yep, so a point a game guy for the Saginaw Spirit. Nice job for a super young guy. That's pretty impressive. Lorenz is on Denver, right? Yeah, he's on so obviously they're long gone. They got beat in the first round. Nana Boo Boo. Healy is on Harvard. They lost in the first round as well. Blah blah blah. 2 assists in 4 playoff games for the Sherbrooke Phoenix for David Spetchik. So that's something, I guess. Something to talk about, I guess. Same thing for Petrovsky. Only 2 points in 4 playoff games for him. I believe that's where they're at. They're both. Yeah, that's where they were at last week. So their seasons are over, respectively. And we'll see if they're able to join Iowa. Age-wise, they might have 1 more year in the juniors. Yeah, I think so. Yep, they're not going to be 20 until 24. So, nope. So, they're going to be in the juniors for now, unfortunately. You got to be 20 years of age to get to the AHL. So, that could be somebody like a Lambos and stuff like that. I could play AHL hockey next year. Caden Bankier, Kyle Masters. It's going to be real interesting how they adjust to the next level. Yeah, they are 20 years of age. Happy birthday this past week, Kyle Masters. April 9th. Yep, I remember seeing that. So, happy 20th birthday, Kyle. We'll see you with Iowa shortly. And, that could help maybe get that roster going. Bankier turned 20 way back in late January. So, again, yep, we'll see him with Iowa next year, God willing. Unless he decides to play in the KHL or something. I don't know. People do crazy things because they're like, I don't want to play for the Wild. I don't see any openings. If you play center, I think you have a pretty good chance. So go for it, Kyle. Go for it. Go for it, Mr. Kyle. Not Kyle. Caden. Kyle's a defenseman, of course. So, yeah. Anyhow, I'll get off that immediately. And we'll come back for some fan interaction right after this. And we are back here on Brave the Wild to talk to you, the fans out there, fan interaction and such. At Brave the Wild. Maybe we'll throw in some Gopher conversation and all that. So, again, like I was saying, congratulations to Quinnipiac and all that. Mostly for Hartford Whalers fans, though. That's mostly what I was talking about. And I remember nobody liked the tweet when I tweeted out my Hartford Whalers hat saying, I'm happy for those fans. See, Hartford Whalers fans that were probably rooting for Quinnipiac. That was my point with that. And it looks like I have a Tom Hain lightning round to go with the Derek Felska lightning round. All right. This is going to be a fun show, guys. It's a thunderstorm today. Yep, now I'm going to get that sound right here going. Holy cow, this is a real lightning round. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a big boy. Okay, so, it's even more. This is going to be interesting. Wow, okay, I think I got it caught up now. It's going to be fun. And Derek brought back the poll. All right, and I continue to not bring the polls, so I suck. Derek does not. We'll come to that poll very shortly. Joey sucks. Derek rocks. Minnesota Wild episode 319, Gophers lose title game to Quinnipiac. So here's a quick shout out to Hartford Whalers fans who were cheering for Quinnipiac. Yes, Brass Bonanza. Yep. Go Whalers, damn it. I love the Whalers. So maybe that's why I kind of like cheered for Quinnipiac a little. No, I mean in the past, not against the Gophers. No. Oh, so somebody clicked like on it. Who was it? Somebody did click like. Come on, it doesn't show Derek. Okay, it was Derek. I thought he didn't. Okay, yeah. Long live the whale, but Quinnipiac, nah. Yeah, I understand. So, yep, I understand. Hartford was definitely the more likable team than Quinnipiac. I mean, Hartford did win a playoff series once, you know. They did win a playoff series once. Who did they beat? I think it was Montreal in the 80s sometime, which was cool. They won a playoff series once. Sorry. I also tweeted out how, Judge Zelgad was, saying how it was one of the great chokes of all time, the way the Gophers couldn't finish that off, and I agree, the way they just kind of went in a shell. So we're going to jump right up to Derek Felska's poll here, and I'm going to retweet it because it's got a couple days left, and make sure that you also, get in touch with Derek on his show as well, hashtag Grease Podcast. Of course, for this one, hashtag BDWMN. Hashtag BDWMN. So, we both kind of do our shows the same way in a sense of we do the hashtag deal. That way everything can kind of be put in a column, which is really nice. That way we can just, boom, and it's all in chronological order instead of, blown up all over the place. So it's really cool. Here's the Derek Felska pool. So Crease Podcast is going to be recording on the weekend where they will be previewing the postseason. I'm 99.999% sure. Or talking about how we have too many injuries. But no, that too, right? Considering the Wild roster, injury to Eriksson Ek, how this team is playing right now, etc. How far do you expect the Minnesota Wild to go in the playoffs? Crease Podcast. And yes, I did retweet it. Gosh, I'm that late? I feel like a jerk. I'm really sorry, Derek. April 9th. What the heck? Where was I? I was probably just lulling in self-pity because the Gophers lost. I'm sorry, Derek. I really am. One and done. Second round, conference finals, Stanley Cup finals. There's a really good chance this is one and done, but I'm going to step out and just in faith and put second round. Yeah, One and Done is the leader and probably going to win. I went with One and Done that finished in second place. So, yeah, pretty much it went exactly the way you'd expect it to in terms of like, yeah, Stanley Cup Finals being the weakest. So One and Done finishes in first, or is in first right now, and it's going to probably stay there. 48.4, second round 30.5, conference finals 12.6, Stanley Cup finale 8.4. Very optimistic fans of that 8.4, but you never know. I went with second round, just hoping maybe we're going to pull off an upset versus Colorado. After that, I don't know. I don't know. Derek continues. The Derek Felska lightning round hath returneth. And we are ready to rock and roll with that. Derek says, who do you think looked more alarming with the way they played, Galen Addison or Marco Rossi? That's a good one. Yeah, they both sucked. They both sucked, eh? Both. No, I'm kidding. Jeez, you know? Jeez. Huh. In terms of how Rossi was playing in the AHL, I guess Rossi in a lot of ways, but Addison was frightening, though. I think there's no chance he's back now. Now I think he's kaput. I think he's gone for sure. The crappy part is what's his trade value going to be like, but jeez, this is tough. This is actually tougher than I thought, because that's a good question, because they both were terrible. Addison looked kind of like, I guess. I'm going to go with Addison for now. I'm going to lean Addison for now, yes. He just kind of was like, okay, I had the puck. I guess, whatever. But supposedly his attitude's been super good behind the scenes, according to Bill Guerin on, was it Barrero or PA? It was one of the two last week. Derek Felska's lightning round continues. Are the Wild too complacent right now, and will they be able to refocus for the playoffs, or is this simply a team whose chemistry is shattered by the loss of Eriksson Ek? It's not good. It's definitely not been good. I think they find if Eriksson Ek isn't going to play, I should have just put 1-1. If he's not going to be able to even play in the first round, and he probably isn't, is he? Crap! I should have just put 1 and done. Yeah, I think we're in trouble. I do. I do. It's like you look good for a little bit, and you got Steele, and Steele's, you know, he's a grinder and this and that, but he's not Eriksson Ek at all. He's just not. He's the second most important player, skater per se, for the Minnesota Wild. It's like Kaprizov, Gustafsson, Eriksson Ek. You know, and watch them put Fleury in game 1 too, and then we lose like 4-1 again, like every other damn game lately. The lightning round continues. The Minnesota Wild is Derek Felska, of course. The Minnesota Wild have been fighting more in the last 3 games than we've seen in the last 20 prior to it. Is this just chippy teams, or is the team trying to send a message for the postseason that we won't be pushed around all out the North Stars and Boston Brawl? Ooh, I'd like to believe that, because we did get pushed around every damn year, seemed like, by the St. Louis's and stuff, and I don't know. It's kind of a combination of both. Obviously, you know, like Winnipeg is chippy. You know, they are. Pittsburgh was a little bit, not really. Like Chicago, obviously, they're kind of just, you know, trying to make a name for themselves, some of those guys. I'm sure we're trying to send a message, yeah. I will say, yes, we're trying to send a message, but I'm not sure how good our message is going to be received long term. Morty says, I remember the Boston Brawl. Cool. Yeah, that was way back in the day, wasn't it? I wish I got to see it live somehow in a way, or on the news, or however the situation was at the time, but live would have been great. Derek Felska continues, says, you recently pointed out there was an actor in an episode of Matlock named Michael Russo. What? Yep, isn't that cool? Well, yep, he was like a young Italian kind of a goon, basically, who worked for a mob boss named, are you ready, Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, you mean the Bears quarterback, the Denver Broncos quarterback? Yeah, so now we're bringing Jay Cutler in the mix. Okay, well, Jay Cutler, the quarterback, didn't exist yet. He was just probably a little kid at the time or whatever, because this was circa 91, I think, the episode. Yes, I'm a Matlock fan. Yes, I am a very old head, old heart, whatever, old soul. Okay, anyhow. What Minnesota Wild would you think would make a great cameo on a mystery or police TV series? Ooh, that's cool. I'm strongly leaning towards a certain guy. Let me think for 3 seconds here first if there's a better one. Marcus Foligno. Absolutely, Marcus Foligno. Marcus Foligno, for sure. He could be like a tough guy, like maybe a tough good guy or a tough bad guy on either side. But yeah, kind of like that Michael Russo guy. He was a big kind of a tough, like he was like one of the tough kind of goon guys, like a young Italian, dark hair guy. Yeah, I was like, yeah, hey. I told you to stay in the hotel or she's dead. He was that kind of guy, and he was a bad guy, unfortunately. Yep, I could see Foligno playing either a good tough or a bad tough guy, because there was a good tough guy in a recent Malik episode that I just watched. Mr. Awesome was like a nickname for him by a little kid that admired him. Maybe that's going to be Marcus Foligno, Mr. Awesome. So, yep, that's a good question. That's fun. That was a fun one. Yeah, Marcus Foligno. Anyhow, it is him. Derek Felska says, oh, here we go. In the SNES classic game F-Zero, what was your favorite racing ship? Uh-oh, you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me. I know the game, or I know of the game really well, and I played it a little bit, but I didn't get into it as much because I wasn't as much into racing games. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like a dork. Which Minnesota Wild players do you think would match one of the 4 ships to choose from in the game? Oh, shoot. I feel like a jerk right now. Oh, I may have to get back to that one. You can, yep. So, I mean, thank God for emulators. I probably have it on something. So, I may have to get back to you on that one. You can always rehash that question again in the future. Because I think I should probably play the game more first. I didn't get as much into that one. So, I feel bad about that. I do. And I know it's a very, very well-known game, and I remember I can see it right now. I can see it, but I wasn't as into it as some of the other classics. The round continues. What odds would you give for the Minnesota Wild to advance beyond the first round of the NHL playoffs? Recently, just a couple minutes ago, I was talking about I think the Wild could pull off an upset versus Colorado. I think they can. I think the Wild can pull off an upset versus Colorado, but I do think it hinges on Eriksson Ek possibly coming back, or somebody else majorly stepping up, and then Eriksson Ek hopefully coming back for round 2. But what odds? Probably like 3-1. We're the one, of course. Like a 33% chance, basically, if you get the idea. Advancing past the first round, something like that. And I don't think it's like 1 in a million or anything crazy like that. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Let me check something real quick. Just want to make sure there's nothing thrown in there that's... okay, yeah, these are all hashtags, so that'll work. Just want to make sure. Yeah, very busy one. I'll keep going. Yep, Jay Bushy. And yeah, thank you very much, Derek. That was a great lightning round. I think there's a little bit more coming up as well. There's a couple extras popping up here. Jay Bushy. Awesome to hear from you. And again, yep, congratulations to your nephew going to the ECHL for the Kalamazoo Wings. Jay says, I just hope they could come out of tomorrow's game healthy. Yeah, really, though. The last few games have been scary. In my opinion, Pionk should have been suspended. Do you think we see X sooner or later? I'm believing sooner. I think he's a tough character who can, as long as it's one of those like pain threshold type things, I think it's going to be sooner. As long as it's not like an actual, as long as it's not like an actual type of thing that has to heal first, like a broken bone has to heal, obviously. But he didn't break a bone. At least I don't think so. I guess you never know. It sounds like a pain threshold type of thing with him. So I'm thinking sooner. The only problem is how mobile will he be? So because he's going to have some mobility. He can't just go out there and like limp around basically. So it's I agree with you on him being suspended. Yes, just if Ryan Hartman gets suspended, why not Pionk? So that was some bull crap. And of course, Eck was that. It was a week ago today. Basically, we lost to Pittsburgh. So week to week type of thing. Luckily, he's had some time for it to heal a bit. So hopefully, the pain will go down a bit, and some of that gingerness will drop. Emin Johan, welcome back. Says, how much will our forwards be able to expose Suter on the forecheck? Hopefully quite a bit, because yeah, he's not had a good year, honestly. And I remember even a year ago, Derek was kind of chuckling about it, like, we saw some age out of Ryan Suter this past year. We were laughing about it around that July 4th State of the Wild episode. That was fun. So I think there's a pretty good chance, though, the Wild, yeah, I mean, we can beat Dallas. I shouldn't get too cocky about it. It's just that there are some really, really, really good players, though. Some really good veterans and some really good young players, like Heiskanen and Robertson. Holy crap. So, I don't know. But Suter hopefully is a guy that the Wild can expose a bit. Good question there. Derek Felska, and of course, good question by Jay Bushy, too. Derek Felska says, who do you got in a fight, Rick Bowness or Dean Evison? Dean Evison for sure. Dean Evison looks like a pro out there every day. Yeah, it's Dean Evison, right? Yep. Kemper Cougar says Dean. I saw a picture of him in a picture in jeans and a t-shirt. The dude is ripped. Derek Felska says Dean didn't look like the least bit scared of that challenge. No, he didn't. And those eyes could kill somebody. He looks like sometimes with those eyes. Do you remember Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? With those eyes. Yeah. Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like this. And then daggers came out of his eyes. Yeah, that's Dean Evison. Yeah, creepy, right? Very. Yep, Dean wins. Dean is the Mike Tyson. Tom Hayen, lightning round hath returned. It's a thunderstorm, and let's get to work, huh? Let's get to work, Brave the Wild. This is Tom Hayen, of course, of the 8 playoff teams in the West. The Minnesota Wild is by far the team that is playing the most uninspiring hockey of late. Yep. Will we undoubtedly hear that everybody is 0-0 when everybody's 0-0 when the playoffs start from the boys at Bally's when Game 1 starts? Yes, we will undoubtedly hear that. It's a clean slate. Yeah, it's a clean slate. No, none of that matters now. And on the radio, like Kevin Fallness, I could just hear him saying that, oh, this 7-1 game, just flush this one out. Yeah, you just flush out a 7-1 loss to the Dallas Stars. Remember those games? Like when Kemper was getting roasted or whoever else. Just flush this one out. We'll move on to the next game. You want to flush it out. You want to. But maybe we just weren't good right then. You know? Wow. Huh. Ottinger got beat. That was Ottinger, right? Yep. No, that was Wedgwood. Okay. Anyhow, sorry. I had to see something, but yeah, they're gonna say that. Yep, you got. Tom Van says, when does Boldy revert back to passive Boldy? When hashtag caller returns to the lineup, the numbers are hard to argue with. It is true. I'm believing he won't. Or no, why does Boldy revert back to passive Boldy? Yeah, you're right. It is kind of weird. It's like a mental thing, isn't it? I've seen it say like this one guy takes over as anchor on the bowling team because the star player wasn't there or something, and then the star player comes back, and then he's just not as good for whatever reason because he's not the anchor anymore. He's back to being the number 2 or number 3 like leader of the team, so to speak, an anchor. Because the anchor in bowling plays the 5th frame and the 10th frame when it's like the game on the line. Like the 5th is right in the middle and the 10th is like the end. Ooh, you got to get that spare or 3 strikes or something, whatever the heck, or 2 strikes and whatever. So yep, it's a mental block. That's what it is for me. Why does that kind of thing happen? I wish it's not the case. I want to see Boldy to become that 30-goal scorer and stay that guy, because really 30-goal Boldy is more like a 40-goal Boldy because it was in such a short stretch of time he was able to accomplish all that. But I suppose that's why it's a full season, because stupid things happen during the course of the year. Tom Hayen, lightning round continues. Yes, sir. I just love putting those things in the same sentence. I do. It is awesome. Just like a Derek Felska lightning round. You guys are pillars to the show, and I'm not kidding. Is the percent chance 1% or lower that Edison is with a big club when October rolls around? It is. It is like 1% or lower. Yeah. I don't think he's coming back, and it's too bad. It's too bad. He really was kind of Guerin's guy, and then all of a sudden as the year progressed, not so much. And I don't know. It's like he didn't kind of. I can see what they were frustrated with. The poor, weak defense. Just weak defensively. A little bit of offense, but it's not like elite. He's not this spectacular offensive player. Maybe like Klingberg was at Dallas when he was rolling, and the Stars were good, and they were beating us in the first round of the playoffs in 2016 with Suter getting a hat trick in one of those. No, he had a game-winning goal against them. That's all it was. And kept the Wild alive in that series for a short stretch. It was cool. It was a game-winning goal in OT by Suter, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, Addison doesn't provide that elite offense. Up there's John Klingberg. Yep, 58 points, 2015, 2016 for the Dallas Stars. And then Heskinen, 73. He's number one all time for the Stars in a single season for a defenseman. So yeah, another reason to be scared of the Stars. But exactly though. But like with Klingberg with his 58 points with the Stars, that's not Addison, unfortunately. He's like a 28, 29 point guy. So we'll continue there. Tom Hand lightning round continues. Hypothetically, if Dino goes with Marc-Andre Fleury in game one, which he should not do. Yep, capital letters, I agree. Will he give him the same leash that he was given last year? No chance. No chance. Like last year, Talbot was pretty bad until Fleury got here, or right before Fleury got here, when the rumors started swirling. So Talbot had kind of hurt himself. Philip Gustafsson is an all-star goalie right now. Philip Gustafsson, to me, is an all-star goalie. All-star caliber at the very least, but I think he's an all-star. And Dean, please don't go with Marc-Andre Fleury in game one. Please don't. If you want to win the series, it's got to be Gustafsson. Marc-Andre Fleury has had some good moments, but overall, he's average. He is an average goalie. So I don't think Dean Evason will give Marc-Andre Fleury the same leash he did last year. No, because this time you have an all-star goalie behind him. If we do go that way, the Gustafsson might start as soon as game 2 or 3 at the absolute latest. Brian Herrera shared my little, he shared my, what do they call that, bat signal, and says, who do you see the Wild pushing past the first round, and who do you think will be the unexpected hero? I see the Wild beating Colorado more likely than beating Dallas, which most people listening are probably like, really? Yeah, I do. Colorado is more likely to choke in the first round, I think, than Dallas, believe it or not. Dallas might have a little bit of playoff run in them. They might get to the conference final this year. They probably won't win it. I don't think they're going to any cup final or anything crazy like that. It's probably going to be Edmonton or Vegas. I think we're most likely to beat Colorado than them. Pardon me. Unexpected hero, like I was saying. Yeah, like last week I was leaning towards Connor DeWer, and I'm still leaning that way. He's kind of the closest thing to Eriksson Ek on the current roster, I think. I see him as that kind of like obviously a smaller, much less version, but he can play. There's a reason why he stayed in the NHL all year, where Sam Steele got, he didn't get sent down or anything, but he got, he got scratched for an extended period off and on during the course of the season. So it's Connor DeWer, absolutely. Tom Hand continues, what in the name of Jason Pominville is wrong with Zuccarello? Again, like mental block and such. He might even be hurt. Who knows? But we don't know what it is. Obviously, none of us do. But you know how guys take pucks off of this and take pucks off of that. Who knows? Maybe his wrist hurts. Who knows? But he's certainly been bad, generally speaking. The goal that he did not score, though, was a spectacular save by Hellebuck, to be fair. So there's that. It's some kind of weird mental block, though, and it's stupid. Tom Hand says, is professional basketball the worst sport ever invented? No, but I think the way they prolong injuries and have to trash talk each other every 5 minutes, it gets annoying, and complain about every freaking foul. So it's not the worst sport ever invented, but it's become the NBA itself has become a bit of a clown show in terms of that. Not, because, in terms of the attitude of certain players. And, of course, say in ACL in hockey, a guy might be back in 9 to 12 months. In basketball, you're lucky if he's back in 2 years, like 24 months. It's ridiculous. So that's kind of where I lean with that. Tom Hand landing round continues. For hockey fans around the globe, what will be the more glorious event? The Weeds losing in the opening round, or the Flies not even getting to the Eastern Conference Finals? The Weeds losing in the opening round. Is that the Some of the nicknames are funny. Let me see. I'm gonna jump around. I'm not gonna jump around. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the man, I wish I could get the frog out of my throat. It's annoying. Are you thinking about the Bruins, the Weeds? Or is that the Seattle Kraken? Yeah, but because they're probably, Seattle's not going to get out of the first round. I doubt it. They're playing either Colorado or Dallas. They're the recipients of the other team that the Wild will not play in the first round. So the Weeds. Let me see. Who are the Weeds? Oh, the Maple Leafs. That's what he means. That's got to be who he means. Yep. Losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, good luck. You got Tampa Bay in the first round. That's got to be what he means. The Weeds. That was the leaf. Yep. It kind of does look like a marijuana leaf a little bit. Yep. What was the other one? The Flies? Who are the Flies, though? Columbus Blue Jackets? No, I'm kidding. They used to have look like a bee or whatever on there. Who are the Flies? It's not the Flyers. So, let me see. I'm going to read that one. The Weeds losing in the, for hockey fans around the world. Yeah, because Tampa's probably going to beat, they probably are going to beat the Weeds, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Flyers not even getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's got to be the Bruins. Yeah, because, it's got to be what he means. I mean, probably the Bruins not getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, because basically Tom Haynes, like, Tampa's going to win that bracket, basically. They're going to win that part. They're going to win that bracket. And I don't disagree with that. They probably are. Or there's a pretty good chance anyway. I'm sure it'll be glorious for a lot of fans to see Boston lose, but I don't mind them. I don't mind Boston. A lot of people hate them. And, Toronto, obviously, there's a lot of dislike there as well. So it's kind of like equal for me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for having an opinion on Tampa getting to the East Finals again. There's a pretty good chance they will. So we'll see how that goes. In regards to the Flies, who is more despised, Brad Marchand, or that's definitely the Boston Bruins. Brad Marchand, because he's nuts and he's weird and I don't know. Jay Bushy simply says both. Yep. So that's the Flies. Where do you come up with Flies with that one? I wonder. I don't know. Well, they're good either way. Tom Hayden continues saying, will the NHL ever gain foresight to blow up the current playoff format? And revert back to the 1 versus 8. Yeah. With reseeding after each round, or is that just too darn difficult for Gary and the boys? I think they will. I think it's a good idea because that way you're not stuck playing the same team every damn year. The Blackhawks, the Blackhawks and the Avalanche and the Blackhawks, the Stars and the Blackhawks and the Avalanche. But obviously not the Blackhawks now, but years ago. Yeah, so I can understand how that can get old. That way we can maybe play Edmonton, we can maybe play Vegas, we could play Seattle. Whatever. That's kind of fun playing a different team. You advance and now you're playing Calgary, whatever, just making stuff up as I go. But I think they will at some point. I think and it would be a very wise decision. Brad Ratkin says, let's go 116. Tom Haynes says can't, not unless you blow up the entire schedule. Got to have overload scheduling if you're going to have decisions. Yeah, I think 116 is a little bit too out there as well. I'm totally fine with the 1 for 8 per conference and then the rescheduling. Yeah, because see if the number 6 seed wins and they're the only upset, and so they're the weakest, they're the lowest number remaining, then they play the number 1 seed. That's how it reschedules. And then the 2 middle teams play each other after that, or on the other side, whatever the heck. Tom Hayden again. Yep, rolling and rolling and rolling. Woo! It's crazy. It's crazy in a good way, though. I like it. Tom, you're awesome. Speaking of Batman, he has now been commissioner for 30 years. When in the crime in Italy is he gonna be? Is there going to be some new blood with fresh ideas instilled into that position? No idea with that one. Sometimes, once in a while, he does make a good decision on something. I think this ESPN Plus thing has been pretty good for the most part. Maybe not everybody's a fan. I like it for the most part. It seems more accessible to me. Cool seeing New Jersey with the green breezers, actually. I'm seeing that in the background right now. That looks cool. But no, I mean, it's probably not going to be for a while, unfortunately. Tom Hayden, lightning round continues. The rest of the way will be Tom Hayden. Actually, there might be somebody jumping in on one of his comments up and coming. Where are we? Okay, during the entire opening round, since local broadcasts are allowed, what is the over-under on the number of times Walls uses the I or me during the entire length of the series? Over-under, huh? like, oh, back when, when I played, see, for me, this, and yeah, I can see Wes Wall saying that. Over under in the opening round, huh? We'll say 8 times. Ooh, we'll say 8 times. Over under. Yeah, that's my guess there. Under any non-injury related circumstance, would Dino put Faber into the lineup in the tournament? I think so. I think there's a possibility. I got to believe so, especially considering, the John Merrills of the world aren't inspiring anybody. Even Klingberg's been kind of weird out there. It's like there is an offensive punch, but it's certainly not what it used to be. So you never know. Addison's not going to probably play a single minute in the playoffs, which is sad but true, because he looks terrible. He looks like a minor league defenseman right now, with a little bit of offensive capability. I think there is a chance Faber is going to get in the lineup, because there's something there. There it is. Yep. Klingberg is referred to as power play specialist. First, who gave him that moniker? And second, has that person been slapped in the head yet? Who gave him the moniker? Well, it must be the Dallas Stars long ago. I don't know, but otherwise, well, like locally here, probably Dean Evison. He's a specialist for the power play. And he may have been slapped in the head behind the scenes during like maybe a big goal or a win. How Dean Evison does all that stuff. So maybe someone slapped him in return. Considering how Dino rode MAF until the series was basically over a year ago, would a similar decision this year warrant rumbling of Dino's dismissal? Yes. Yep. I think that could cost him his job. Like if they just stick with Fleury, if they put Fleury in, he puts Fleury in and sticks with him, and we lose a series in like 5 games, I think he's in trouble. I think he's in big trouble, actually. Salary cap crunch or not. Jay Bushy says, I don't think he'd do that this year, and I hope not. Tom Hayen says, didn't think he would have done it last year. Brian Herrera responds with, honestly, Talbot absolutely sucked against St. Louis when he was here, and MAF wasn't as bad. Interesting. Yep, interesting back and forth there. One last comment, or tweet, or whatever. Tom Hayen wrapping up fan interaction with, what the hell was Motzko thinking during the NCAA title game last Saturday? Horrific game plan. Yeah, take a time. Once we get the small lead, just kind of sit back and take the puck and eat the puck and eat the puck and eat the puck and just get slapped in the just getting the puck getting slapped around at you all day. Facing a firing squad. It's like the hope was maybe like our defensemen are phenomenal, our goalie's really good, Justin Close, Faber, guys like that, Lacombe. Another great defenseman on the Gophers, would just finish him off, But unfortunately, to just sit back and not initiate anything when you have a front line like that's been boasted nonstop all season for good reason, and you don't use it, when you score one more effing goal and you win. One more effing goal and you win. Guess what? That goal never came because you refused to initiate. So. Great take, Tom Hayen there. It was horseshit. Yeah. I don't like to swear too much on the show, but it was horseshit. It really was. It made me very mad. So that's kind of where I stand. It was a very horrific game plan. But Tom Hayen, Jay Bushy, Brian Herrera, Morty, of course, Derek Felska. Oh, my goodness. Awesome fan interaction. That was a blast. Thank you. Keep them coming. Yep, Emin Johan. Yep, you as well. Thank you so much. Yep, Emin Johan as well. That was a lot of fun. That really was. Thank you so much for the awesome fan interaction. Looking forward to the postseason. I'm going to give some shout-outs and wrap it up. It's my clock is ticking here right now, if you know what I mean. So it just is what it is. Major shout-out, MNW Young Guns. MNW Prospects / Young Guns. Great page, of course, keeping up with the rookies. The Twitter account, Facebook page, look them up, interact. Pavel Burnett, who created the Brave the Wild logo, just beautiful logo. Pavel Burnett coming out of Czechia. Justin Bakke, Duluth Bulldogs lore. Brandon Quast coming out of Wisconsin, just doing an unbelievable job keeping up with all the the prospects on the Wild, in the juniors, in college, overseas, blah, blah, blah. Do an amazing job. And we have a Player of the Week. And Pavel Burnett also does a Minnesota Wild Player of the Week for Minnesota Wild Global. That's Scott Cavendish. Great job there. Great Facebook page. Kathy May and Chad Walski, David Abraham, David and Chance Kostick, Michael Feck. You could go on and on. Great page and great conversation all the time for the Minnesota Wild. Also, Patrick Turner does a very similar page coming in out of Florida. Minnesota Wild Nation. Minnesota Wild Nation. Give both of those a follow and interact and conversate and talk Minnesota Wild. They're highly recommended. Thank everybody so much for your interaction with the show. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends about it. Give a positive rating on Apple Podcasts or other podcasts that allow you to put a positive review for the show. Those of you that already have, thank you so much. Anybody else, please do jump in and help the show. It makes the show more attractive to potential listeners. And again, do tell your friends about the show if you could as well. Shout out all over the place. Shout out to Locked On Wild as well. Yep, obviously there. Again, just thank you everybody so much for being great friends. Big shout outs to the Hockey Podcast Network. Devil's State of Mind. Yep, that was one that definitely deserves it. They have been very nice with retweeting and such. Vince Germano retweets the show all the time coming in. Wild Brazil also retweets. Thank you so much. Those of you that have, it's so appreciated. Like retweet either the bat signal or the like saying how the new show is out, that kind of thing. Those of you that retweet, just thank you so much. And we will talk to you. Grit and Barrett podcast followed just recently. Cool. Keep voting on the polls and all that, and hashtag Crease Podcast as well. Anyhow, have a nice week. Hopefully the Minnesota Wild can, get things going in the right direction. Guys, get healthy, and we'll see what kind of series we have in store for us. Probably going to do a show before next Thursday, and we're probably getting into the point now as the postseason has begun and all that, and spring cleanup season is right around the corner. I may record next Thursday, probably, but we'll see. We'll see how the schedule changes. It might become the rainy days and Sundays type of thing. Like, how we get into that into the playoffs and off season and all that, rainy days and Sundays type of thing, where I'll record a show in that type of situation, or that type of thing, or squeeze them in at nighttime or something, or even a mobile show if it's a short segment, this and that. So other than that, again, have a nice week and go Wild. Hope this postseason is for real.